I want to suggest to you that there are 3 personas that you need to embody, whether you individually or across your organisation. And the first of those is this. It's the truth teller. Because wouldn't you agree that many people cannot tell fact from fiction, and they can't tell fact from familiarity either. You know, if somebody says something often enough, it becomes real. So what is going to cut through? What are people looking for? I want to suggest they're looking for 2 things in your communication. They're looking for clarity. They want to know what the true picture is, even if it's bad news. Even if it's news that they're not going to want to hear. So this is where we've got to tell it straight. We've got to play it with a straight bat. They're also looking for certainty. Not necessarily long-term certainty, because I think we learnt in 2020 that that's gone. We don't have long-term certainty anymore. But they want to know what's likely to happen in the next half an hour. What do you expect? What's your best estimation of the position by first thing tomorrow morning? Clarity and certainty. Now I'll give you a framework. I'm going to give you a link at the end to some resources I've prepared for you, including a framework that I recommend to leaders to help them communicate clearly and with certainty. So you can grab a copy of that. Now you might be saying, well, Neril, I'm a truth teller. My organisation tells the truth. But there's truth, and then there is maybe not quite the truth. Sometimes in organisations, we're good at making the clear unclear. Now, lions have been in the news a bit lately, haven't they? I wonder if you remember this. A couple of years ago, some lions at Taronga Zoo in Sydney escaped from their enclosure. Do you remember that? It was pretty serious. The zoo was open at the time. Have a look at the statement, or part of the statement the zoo put out to the media. An integrity issue with a containment fence enabled 5 lions to temporarily exit their main exhibit. What is that? Can you imagine people running through the zoo saying, danger, 5 lions have temporarily exited their main exhibit? No, that type of communication makes us go like that, doesn't it? Because it's euphemisms, it's dressing it up, thinking that, you know, it's not going to sound as serious if they use big words. That's not being a truth teller. Contrast that, if you will, with the case also a few years ago in the UK when KFC ran out of chicken. Remember that one? In crisis communications, there's a principle that you'll be less forgivable, the crisis will be less forgivable if it strikes right at the essence of your brand. So Qantas and cybersecurity, not a good look, but Qantas and serious safety incident, so much more damaging to their brand. But a chicken chain running out of chickens, it's right up there, isn't it? Do you remember the exquisite piece of clear communication that KFC used in that situation? Let me remind you. I just think, yes, some of you are, oh, now I get it. I think that's a masterful piece of communication. Oh no, don't use that in the next disaster. That's probably not what we're going for here. But you get what I mean. So clear, exquisite. So play it with a straight bat. And building on that, it's not just about being clear. You need to clarify, not justify. We spill over into justifying, into defending our position or the government's position. When we're justifying, we're covering our own butt. That is self-serving. When we're clarifying, that is an act of service to our audience, whether that's your team, another agency, or the broader community. Now, I learnt this very powerfully many years ago when I was a young TV reporter. It was a long time ago, so long, it was the time when the size of our hair was only matched by the size of our shoulder pads. I think you remember. Oh, that's pretty scary, isn't it? Now, I know, hilarious. I work for the Wind Network in Wollongong, and our TV studio was up on a hill overlooking the Port Kembla Steelworks, very large steelworks at the time. And the steelworks would regularly spew all kinds of black or brown emissions into the atmosphere. And we would get pictures of this stuff, and we'd ring the steelworks, and they would savagely say to us, no comment, you people are always so negative, there's no news here, we're not talking to you. So this went on, and so we would continually run negative stories about this pollution and the fact that the steelworks refused to comment. So you can imagine over a period of months and years, the reputation of the steelworks was pretty bad, and our relationship with the steelworks management was very toxic. So this happened again one day. I remember this great big spewing out of emissions of some sort, and I rang the steelworks expecting to get the same response, no comment. But what I didn't realise that there was a new boss in town, a man by the name of Jerry Ellis. And I was put through to his EA, and she said, "Mr. Ellis would be happy to do an interview with you. Why don't you come in at 10 o'clock? I thought, this is different. So we packed up the camera and we raced in, and I was going to go in hard. I was going to win a Logie off the back of this sucker. I tell you, I was ready. But Jerry Ellis had other ideas. I'll never forget this. He fronted up to the camera and he said very calmly words to the effect of this. At 6 o'clock this morning, there was a malfunction in the blah, blah, blah plant. I can't remember the name of the plant, which resulted in a large amount of black material being emitted into the atmosphere over Wollongong. I want to apologise to the people of Wollongong. This is not good enough. This is not who we are. I also want to assure you we have had crews working intensively to fix this problem, and I fully expect that by 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, we will be back online and this will not happen again. Wow. There goes my story and my Logie. But I learnt a powerful lesson. That man had the courage to be a truth teller, even if the news hurt him, even if it potentially hurt reputation. He was clear and he gave certainty. I've never forgotten that, and I haven't, over the decades since, I haven't seen a whole lot of leaders who've communicated with that level of truth telling. So be a truth teller.